It's blacked out because my glove was in the way. Hello and welcome everybody once again to Written Wednesday. And I'm joining you live from my top secret bunker at the center of the earth. I've decided to take Soosh's advice from last week. Instead of picking the tall isolated tower, I've picked the subterranean bunker. Oh, thank you. We have someone new joining us. And we've got ourselves equipped out with our Vault Tech issue Pip-Boy, our snazzy duds, and our soundproof bunker and little lamp. And speaking of little lamp light, why don't we get some tunes cranking? The Cowbit has missed a lot. So now that we've got ourselves a happy little atmosphere, let's think about getting some writing done this week. Nice. Yes, indeed. Play Ring of Fire. Maybe by the end of the stream I can play Ring of Fire, because I have no earthly concerns whatsoever about monetizing my videos. All I care about is my gratuitous amounts of diet soda, my big cup of water, and all my notes for writing. Oh no, not Johnny Cash. Sodas, yes, we're all stocked out. And if our friend Meg is feeling up to it, who here hasn't seen the Internet Historian video on Fallout? I haven't, and I've not really played Fallout 76. I'm more of a Fallout 3 kind of guy. You kind of sound like Call Me Kevin Zero. Well, I don't know who that is, but thank you very much for the compliment. And if Meg is feeling up to it today, I might just have to Shanghai her into reading a little. Okay, you need to take 30 minutes after the stream to spend with me. You don't get a choice. Done. Oof for Rooney. Oh, pinto beans.
I don't want to set the world on fire, honey. I love you too much. I just want to start a great big flame.
It's gonna be difficult to type in the Pip-Boy.
You see,
Typing intensifies, Caleb. And not me. Sorry, it's not today. That's alright. But we are going to be doing a bit with Maud, and I figured you'd want to voice your big reptilian horrific monster child. But, let's see. You actually just have that on you right now. Why? For effect! Dramatic reveal! That's why I'm sitting out here! This is actually a project my dad's been working on for a little bit. It is a recording booth that we've made out of an old greenhouse that we no longer use. What do I miss when I don't show up? A lot of nonsense and a whole bunch of nothing. Alrighty. Well, Dark Birdo. That is really amazing. Thank you. Dark Birdo. We distinctly have a lack of other readers. Can I possibly persuade you, as our new visiting guest, to do a little bit of reading with me over Discord for the story, to catch everybody up on what's been going on in the current chapter? And just turn that off for now. Maybe. Oh yeah? Well, I will see if I can hear you clearly over Discord, and we can get things started. Alrighty. Much more intensified typing. Wait, I'm on PC. Let me pull up Discord on my tablet. Alrighty. And let me see, Yes! The doc is still in copy and paste. And in the meantime, let's crack open this bad boy here, because preparing to read something and gumming up your throat with soda are indicative of the creative process. In fact, I would argue it's one of the most creative things you can do. Challenge narration. One day I can only hope to have a sponsorship by Coke. You misread most of that. I was putting in my ear... Oh, yeah, no, that's perfectly all right. I'm just waiting for you, and we'll go over and we'll read the chapter so far. I'll scroll back up to the top here, and we can all get started. What do I do? Call me on Discord. The stream should be able to hear you just fine over Discord. And then I sent you a link of the segment we will be reading. Oh no. Oh yes. Alright, let me see here. Join call. Hello there. Can you hear me?
Oh god. It's not in my earbuds.
One moment, our new guest appears to have exploded. We will remember her fondly.
Okay, I thought my earbuds were plugged in. My bad.
Okay. Hello there.
Oh god, can they actually hear me?
Yes, I do believe they can. Can everybody hear our new reader? Everybody hear her clearly?
Oh, I'm scared.
Oh, don't be. I'm an extremely gentle host, but you will not be paid.
Hi! Wait. It's not you I'm scared of.
Oh, just barely. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Oh, could you get a little closer to your mic? Apparently we're having issues hearing you clearly.
It's like right in my face. I got like microphone next to earbuds.
Is there any way you can devour the tablet? I hear that post-esophagus recordings are the most crisp.
I don't know. I could take my earbuds out, but then there would be
noise pollution for me, yeah. Caleb is picking up radio from another bunker, yes.
The thing would be, you could be able to hear yourself.
Oh god, nothing would be worse than that.
Because I'm stuck.
That's alright. Alrighty. Well, if everybody's ready, let's begin. Are you ready, chat?
Yeah.
Shall we put our new guest to work?
No, please don't. I might have to go at some point. I don't know. My mom might need something from me.
Oh, that's fine. I appreciate any opportunity you have to be a part of this stream, and I welcome all newcomers.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. Meg's just channeling Shia LaBeouf in the chat. Do it! Now I'm not the only one who's had to read. All right. Act 3, Scene 3, Sleeping Giant, Avialock, the Storm Drain. Are you okay?
No.
Good, that's the proper emotion to be experiencing while in one of my streams. With lightning swiftness, excuse me. See, it's a very professional setup you have right here, just one take only. With lightning swiftness, a bulk of the naval officers of the UCASC sprinted off in pursuit of the Rolfians, taking only moments to recover from the daze instilled by their charge. The others quickly dislodged a compact rectangular tool from their magnetic belts, no bigger than a wallet, and unfolded them into a wider handled shape. While the unassuming silvery device would be easily overlooked at a passing glance, the normally oblong kit would house all manner of emergency and utility tools. Several meters of fibrous metallic twine wound up inside, a lighter, liquid purifying tablets, a small neutron battery, and enough stored materials to fabricate a number of stored patterns and emergency machines were only a few aspects of the Kalyata kit. Unfolded, 4 prehensile nozzles would be exposed, allowing the officers to rapidly print the extinguishers they needed to combat the blaze that had begun to overtake the area. As the officers rushed past to deal with the blight the retreating thugs had left, Oxide 2-0 made equal pace to the side of his men. Even after the horrible toss, The most prevalent thought on his mind was an overwhelming, seething sense of annoyance. Annoyance that the Rolfian captors had effected a retreat with their hostage. That not only did the second group... That does not need to be there. That not only did the second group manage to get the drop on them, but gravely wounded a number of his men on top of it. The dent they'd made in the enemy numbers was entirely meaningless if they still had their hostage. If anything, now the soldier grimaced behind his harsh, angular helmet. He would be in greater danger. The element of surprise was lost. All right, what's Soosh saying here? Have you seen the edited video of Saya yelling, "Just do it! Don't let my French fries be dreamed. Just do it. Where are my French fries?" No, I haven't, but he strikes me as a man who desperately needs his fries. There is not enough potato in that man's life. A pang of pain would dully linger in his ankles, not angles, ribs and back. But the commando would pay it little heed. The machines in his armor would deal with whatever damage he sustained until he could check in for medical examination. His slow-paced glance over his team would more than reminded him that he had other priorities. Oxide 2-3, despite the aid of his armor, was critically wounded, and he was not alone. Pinto beans. Potato.
Beans? What? Where?
Oh, in the chat. We have pinto beans. Potato. Period.
I only see potato. What? Where's beans?
Oh, that's her username, Pinto Beans.
Oh, I was really confused.
That's okay, that's my general state of existence.
I don't know how to read.
It's like walking, you put one foot in front of the other except for its syllables.
Wait, what?
I said it's like walking, you put one foot in front of the other except for with your mouth. That's what I do, at least.
Oh.
Several of the men were knelt down beside their comrades, producing medical equipment from their belt pouches to address the yawning wounds left before them from the lick of the Rolfian claws. Laid in the dirt beside 2-3 were Oxide 2-7 and 2-9, both cradling weeping wounds of hot, wet crimson. Oxide 2-4 and 2-5 worked quickly and silently, handling small nozzled canisters which pumped the injured soldiers full of a cocktail of medicines and specialized foam to stop the bleeding. Dark Burb
Can we
has
pause here for a second?
Certainly.
I have no idea what is going on. Wait, what?
That's all right. We're kind of well into the book. You're joining late.
You want to give me a brief rundown, or am I just kind of... Hey, screw you.
Oh, no, don't worry. I won't leave you a lamb fresh to the slaughter. What's going on is, at the beginning of the book, Captain James Calabar Tanner has lost his crew to a fatal accident. In his state of distraught, or in his distraught state, he's left wandering around the Capitol building or Capitol space station of this enormous near-utopian empire. When, during his moping, an admiral has decided to expedite his court case, getting him in front of the council immediately, and instead of being reprimanded for the loss of his crew, he is immediately given a new ship and tasked to head out to the planet Avialok, where an archaeological dig has unearthed a new type of machinery from an ancient civilization long past. The immense destructive capability of the device is matched only by its mystery, as not even the scientists themselves can agree on its purpose. One says a massive library computer spanning their millions of years of existence. Another says a reality bomb, something with such explosive power that it could end all of reality in less than the blink of an eye. During this invasion, we discover that it is, in fact, the Rolfians, one of the neighboring empires to the UCASC, which is the near-utopian society. And currently, we're following the human soldiers attempting to protect the colony, while the UCASC attempt to secure the device. And eventually, we're going to jump over to the Rolfian perspective. I've been doing that a lot in Act 3, and painting out our villainous curs as something more than just Saturday morning villains, because they have their own thoughts and actions, cruel as they may be. That is perhaps the most articulate I have ever spoken, and I'm glad I have that on film. I'm going to point to this moment anytime anyone asks me what's going on in the book. Link.
Dark Burb has the same condition I have. What's that, Soosh?
The same condition Would that be object permanence? Or not liking to read in Oh. We'll get into that some other time.
I know. I've heard of it. I know what it is. I just don't know what it means.
Soosh kind of has a problem remembering things that she's not exactly exposed to.
Same.
Oh, you said I can't read, and IDK, what's going on here? That is so me. All right, I think we're going to abandon the Pip-Boy for now.
No.
I don't foresee needing to use VATS anytime too soon. Oh, Nikolai's left. His internet probably exploded. Ripperoni, yes. All the due respect for Nikolai. Rip, bye. Bye, Felicia. Any UCASC officer who wasn't rushing... Or, excuse me, do you mind if we continue?
I mean, I don't know. I kind of just want to chill. But, you know, you're the guy.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Wonderful. Netflix and chill once we get back to writing. Any UCASC officer who wasn't rushing to combat the blaze or in hot pursuit through the woods rapidly descended on the commandos, producing as many medical supplies as they could to assist their human allies. While only the smallest minority would be kin to the Earth-oriented people, each officer worked as quickly as they could, pulling up a cacophony of hard light displays, displaying
What is that?
Is what? Hard light?
No, cacophony. What?
A bunch of. I use a bunch of words that nobody gets because I'm a smart boy.
What that meant? But I was like, maybe I'm stupid.
No, that's okay. You are not.
I mean, I could say.
Oh, and she said volt, not fault, I'm pretty sure. Alright. While the smallest minority would be kin to the Earth-oriented people, each officer worked as quickly as they could, pulling up a cacophony of the hard light displays, displaying diagrams of the anatomy many of them were largely only topically familiar with.
Wait.
Yeah, hang on. It'll resurrect itself from the dead. We're fine, totally fine, nothing happened. Hello?
Can they still hear you?
Give it a sec. Probably. Eventually. Oh, that icon though.
Yeah, the icon. Dope.
Oh, mine? Thank you. It's a caricature of my own head. Alright. Can you guys hear me alright? Okay, I am back. Welcome back. Yes, you exist again. Wonderful. Alright.
I think it might just be me, but the me is frozen. You're like not moving. You're stuck in like blur.
Ah, that's probably trying to host a call and everything all at once.
Well, what am I just...
We'll finish reading and I'll set you free. Does that work for you?
Okay. I mean, wait, this is 11 pages long. Are we going to read all of this?
A little bit, and then we'll go back and forth, you and I.
Wait, you're going to make me read... Nah!
Yeah, that's part of it. That's why I had you in call, so everyone could hear your lovely voice as you read my horrible collection of blendered words. The duty would fall... Oh, yes?
No, keep on. I was going to say okay, but, you know, you're started reading anyway.
My mistake. The duty would fall on the commandos, still standing to quickly regroup with the members of the ESG detachment, basically the secret service of this universe, and make their pursuit plans. In a flash, half of the agents would disappear in a ripple of open air, rapidly descending on the woods to hurry after the Rolfians as the others remained. Alright, take it away.
Oh no. I don't want to read... Do you give your characters voices or no?
You can if you want. It will only make it more entertaining for the crowd. And by crowd, I mean three other people.
Are these like robots or are they like beings?
They are military people using a call sign, so they have funky, fresh names. Like Oxide 20.
Okay. I gotta hate myself. What did I do? Alright. Just, what happened? Oxide 2.0 started. Was tone demanding, but lacking started. Our intel lost track.
Oh, we can go back and forth. I won't make you read everything.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Our intel lost track of the second group of insurgents when they split up at your dilapidated stronghold. A portion of them withdrew into the disruption field and apparently reorganized instead of dispersing, began one of the larger agents. The usual... Oh, okay.
Oops, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Confused. Are we just gonna go...
Yeah, let's go back and... That's easy. We'll just go back and forth.
Yeah. So I'm not just confused all the time. The usual response would be dissolving their large... That's what we were, right?
Yes.
Okay. The usual response would be dissolving their larger group and seeking out what smaller, widely encampments before likely planning retaliation. Added Agent May, probably. Yes. Encouraging a nod from Oxide 2 too.
So just reconsolidating down into new groups and trying to retake ground, but having all these big shots in one place is shaking up their tactics. Tutu spoke, his mind recalling something akin to the Hydra from old stories he'd heard when he was much younger.
Yeah, precisely. Whoa, okay, that's a big word.
Idiosyncratic.
Wow, oh, okay. Their idiosyncratic nature and small variations on these constant notwithstanding, chimed in one of the agents.
We'll adapt. Our top priority is removing all non-combatants from the AO. Harassing their encampments is secondary. Speech is a third precaution. They might have managed to run from this engagement, but they've got another thing coming if they think they're getting away. 20 punctuated.
The sentiment echoed between the ESG and the agents and ECC commandos alike. The escape of the Rolfians would annoy the troopers, not dissuade them. While their foes had effected successful evasion, it wasn't without a heavy cost. The blood in the water was very clear. They just needed to adjust their strategy to match their erratic
adversaries.
He's gonna help me when I start school. I did. I said that.
Oh, sorry, your mic cut out. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, your mic cut too. I think my internet's going bad because it's starting to rain outside. We had a severe thunderstorm warning earlier, so
I like Soosh over here. I'm not
what?
A Soosh over here. I don't know about you guys. Beep boop. And yeah, it's stormy where I am too currently.
You're not in Ohio, are you?
No, I'm in Florida. The storm capital of every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Such adaptations were already under consideration and development by the operatives who remained, waiting for the recon team who hurried ahead for details. For the commandos, this brief pause before pursuit offered them the shortest of windows to check in with the rest of Team Oxide. The area was still under the cover of the Rolfian jamming bales, but that map was quickly filling in as their radio blackout continued to crumble. Hey, Pinto lives in Ohio too.
Oh. Hey, Ohio boys.
Ooh.
Alright. Oxide 3.0, this is Oxide 2.0. Wait, what? Is this how copy? Is that a thing that people say?
Yeah, we're in the military. We're speaking hard jargon here. You've been drafted.
Okay.
It's action time. Action time. Birdo's gonna kick some butthole.
I'm actually in Jersey City, so that's kind of cool.
Oh.
2.0 spoke, quickly raising a hand to the side of his helmet.
This is Oxide 3.0. Solid copy on that last transmission. Oxide 2.0, over, came the lightly distorted reply only a few seconds later.
Oxide 3.0, be advised. Tangos have evaded capture and may be heading towards your area. What's the situation over there? Over.
Copy that, Oxide 2.0. Break. The team leader spoke, pausing for a moment under the noise of intensifying energy discharge. Oxide 2.0, do you still copy? Over.
I think our I don't know, maybe our docs are different because mine paragraph. I was like, oh boy, another paragraph. Or another sentence, I guess.
It should be Roger that, 3.0.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think you understand, but it's
Oh,
fine. I'm being.
my mistake, sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm worrying about nothing. Roger that 3-0. We're still here. Send your traffic over.
Right, copy that. We're pushing southwest into some kind of old temple area. One of the grunts out here says a native told her that they saw Rolfians falling back through here after some locals tried to leg it into the woods for cover. They've seen at least 10 Palam get abducted. Ooh, that needs to be italic.
I don't think.
Boop.
I don't think we're looking at this in Google Docs.
No, mine is. I'm looking at the actual Word document. I just copied and pasted everything over it before the stream.
Wait, did you not? Why? I'm not seeing any of the edits you're making. That makes me kind of sad.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in the Word document. I just copied and pasted everything over into Google Docs so I could share it for whoever I would get into reading.
Oh, you're in a Word document. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, never mind.
No, you're not. You're doing just fine.
No. Are we gonna read all of this tonight? Because I've got like an hour.
Yes, if that's all right with you. Or if you'd like, we can tag out and I can see if I can't extort Pinto Beans. I mean, ask Pinto Beans to get in here. Are you good with continuing, or would you like to tag out?
We can probably make it to page 6, and then I'm gonna like head off.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to have you here, and I hope this isn't too unfun for you.
It's not unfun. It's just kind of nerve-wracking because I'm an introvert, but I'm also an extrovert.
Oh God, most of the people in this stream are introverts, so you are in good company. We're all shy, awkward people here.
Yeah, but I'm terrible at reading.
I don't know. I think you're doing a great job.
I don't think that, but all right.
No, you're doing fantastic. Nikolai, the fellow who just left, I've had to read with him before in public. He's not so good.
I mean, I'm not so good either.
No, you are plenty fine. Your Grammy is in the mail. By stark comparison.
I could definitely be doing better, I guess.
Well, so could I. I keep stumbling over it, and I wrote the thing. I get to look like I have a grand IQ of 4.
You have more emotion in your words, and I'm just kind of like a robot, and that makes me...
That's okay. If anything, you sound more military than I do, and I'm just like, oh, in the woods!
I mean, I've heard that's what the Navy is like.
Ooh, shots fired!
The Navy officers actually came to my Director C class and talked to us, and I was considering it, and I was like...
I'm considering it, but you guys seem a little bit too emotional for me. I'm Dark Birdo. I'm tough as nails. You need to step up your game.
I'm emotional fuck, man. You don't even know.
Alright, may I continue?
Yes.
Awesome. And again, if you want to tag out, just let me know. This is supposed to be fun for everybody, and I don't want to push anyone too hard. I joke about abusing my audience, but I don't mean it. I swear.
I don't hurt people.
I don't hurt people, they just hurt themselves off my big hairy man knuckles. I'm sorry.
I mean, I do the self-harm every now and then.
Oh.
I make jokes about it, because I actually do. Yeah, no, I don't do that either.
Sorry about that.
Back to that. No, it's fine. Back to other things, please.
They've seen at least 10 Palam to get abducted on their way to some sort of old tech cache they've been keeping out here. So be advised for that. We're taking fire from the east and northeast. Eyes are showing patrols of their slave creatures off to the east, out where Oxide Actual dropped and fortifications set up. That might be where they're holding up. Over. 3-0 grunted over the continued fighting. Oh, hey, it's a Colby. Hello, Colby. My friend?
I can't hear you. Something happened.
Oh, I stopped at in slightly heightened annoyance. I'm passing the torch to you.
I'm confused now.
What happened?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Well, you're doing just fine.
I don't feel like... I gotta go.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much for being a part of the stream. I appreciate it. I really do. Well, I suppose I will continue reading this myself once I readjust myself in my seat. No, no, no. I'm starting to realize just how hot this place gets without the air conditioner on. In slightly heightened annoyance, Oxide 20 would look... Well, if Soosh didn't... I don't think... Yeah, no, if Soosh didn't scare her off. But now I find myself in a quandary. Where are you at, anyways? I am at a top-secret Republican bunker at the center of the Earth. I am not at liberty to give out any more information. He is in my bunker I made. Yes, no, I have been kidnapped and Soosh is forcing me to stream. In slightly heightened annoyance, Oxide 20 would look up to the ground or group around him. The small break in the tension was over. They needed to pursue the fleeing group if they were to have any chance of recovering the relics from and their hostage. Looking back to his injured squad mates for a moment, the oldest creed of the human soldiers would echo softly, "No man left behind." Made nuclear threats against Ohio. Plot twist, he found Area 51. Yes, no, and they realized that he had escaped sometime previously, so they put me back where I belonged. Nobody puts beans in a corner. LOL. Oh, speaking of which, Pinto, would you be up for helping me bust through the rest of this chapter real quick for everybody who's missed the writing so far? Can I force you into the meat grinder to read with me? Sure, awesome. Alright. Where did Pinto go? There's a Pinto! And I just so happen to have the keys! Start voice call! That connected quick! Every time you ask someone to read you... That's because you don't have a microphone, Soosh. You don't talk to nobody. Howdy, howdy. There you go. Good to have you. Alrighty. Let me see. Do I still have it? Yes, I do. Skadoosh. There you go. And everyone can hear Pinto beans just fine, correct? Pinto, make some noise. Let everybody know you love them. Woo! Maximum enthusiasm! I just dropped my soda.
Do I need to shout louder?
They are very quiet. I barely hear anything. Alright, everybody. That's going to be violent for a little while. I'm just going to let him sit and do his own thing. Okay.
Yeah, just check. My mic's like that.
Turn up your sound in OBS. Oh. Oh. Oh.
That's dangerous.
Can we... You should be at maximum. No, that was minimum. Are you down here? Unhide, regularly. Okay, hang on. I'm a bit of a Dumbo. Wait a second. It's the slider that says audio, but that's me, though, I thought. That's already at maximum as well. Okay, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try just blasting the audio of my computer.
We're all gonna die.
We've gone to maximum! Alright. Can you hear everything okay now? Pinto, say...
Hear me?
Yes, can you hear the Pinto? This is maximum volume.
Listen to the beans.
Yes, we have achieved maximum loud lass. They're still quite... Well then. It's all the way over. It's all the way over. I don't know what you want from me. Mixer. Quiet as a bean. Or maybe I'm just too loud. Well, that ain't something that's going to change. I can help. Okay. Oh, hang on. Potato to the rescue. Hardwired, please help me. You're my only hope. Their two bunkers are too far apart. The signals aren't reaching. I know we ran out of string and aluminum cans. It's jury-rigged, but maybe we might be able to make something work. I can make a ship go warp speed with nothing more than a bit of chewing gum and some dental floss. I think we can make this work.
Yeah.
Check Discord. Okie doke. User settings. Oh.
Setting I have output volume, and whenever I turn it up, you get louder. So maybe.
Okay, here we go. 100%. Maximum, approaching maximum bean! That's a 200% bean. Who here is afraid? I just heard, The mic kind of cut out. Excitedly bean at me. Alright, is it any louder? Beans, say some things.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what you want me to say.
It's about on par with Burb right now. Okay, so we have increased audio. Oh wait, Colby says nope. Colby, why can't I have nice things with you around? I couldn't really hear Burb either. Alright, still quiet. Okay, we're just going to try and read this. Okay, that should be... Can I... Okay, there we go. Wait, just taking it? No, that would just make it quiet. Okay. Are you ready? Do you have the document open? Are we at Skeg?
Yes. Okay.
Alright. Skeg, he cursed under his breath. Oxide 3-0, this is 2-0. Stand by. Over. 2-0 continued before looking back to the remaining ESG. Your turn.
Unless you've got intel on the area out south, I'm gonna need time to re-coordinate. Go on ahead with your buddies and do what you can. We'll be right behind you after we regroup and the wounded are exfiltrated. Said 2-0 to the tolerated.
From the outside, the figure would remain stoic and still for some seconds, his hooded helmet allowing not even a clue of the creature's machinations to seep from within. Under the plasticky screen, however, would flash a flurry of trabs. I'm in this bunker for a reason. Under the plasticky sheen, however, would flash a flurry of tabs, small boxes streaming local comm data, visual feed from the other half of his team, and even the other agents, and small, simple, easy-to-conceal signals to them before looking to the timepiece, keeping tabs on the mission time which had passed. A soft, steamy fog would lumber over the ground from the naval officer's succeeding efforts to quell the blaze. while the suffocatingly thick and throat-blistering heat of the still raging fires crept far over the land, intent to wilt all those they touched whom were not protected by rebreathers. Oh, hang on, Soosh. I have to ask you something, please. Yes. Okay, let me try to eat. Why, so you can dramatically spit your food over the monitor when I fail to answer your goblin-esque question? They don't fit in my mouth. Okay, well, I'll give you time with that. Okay, so Caleb, unhook your jaw like a snake. World advice with Colby. Just get some waiting music here with Soosh. There we go.
That's my jam.
To the town of our free who rode a straight.
Oh, hang on. I have a request. Please whisper
Mystery real estate.
into the mic. Okay, I hope that lived up to your expectations, Soosh.
It's for real estate.
Then I have to have that dopey smile he does, that really plasticky smile. No, okay, I'm gone. Bye, Colby. Thanks. I have seen enough. There's a lot more things to see in this world, and this ain't one of them. All right, you may take over, my friend.
I'm trying to do a agent voice. The officers will evacuate your men to medical quarters aboard one of the vehicles in order. You have 2 minutes to collaborate with your forces before we must move. The agent spoke in a low, quiet voice, offering 2-0 the time to move as a group. Do you want me to keep reading?
No, I'll get this. I just watched someone decide to go play Splatoon. I believe that is. Squid's dying, yes. 2-0, 3-0 here. Are you still there? Over. You can get this part.
Oxide 3020 here. Has anyone tried to contact Oxide Actual since the drop? Over.
Affirm 2-0. We had him for about half a mic, 1/5 before his signal died entirely. We only got that his LZ was hot and tangos were danger close. We've tried to raise him twice after that, but I don't know. Over. 3-0 replied before the sounds of heat popping against the stone washed nearer towards the receiver.
Alright, 30, this is Oxide 20. Just focus on your situation out there. Team 3 will focus on Team 1. If you can, once you dispatch those hostiles, push east and see if you can't get some intel on the fortification out there. I'll see what we can about tracking down the status.
I'll see what we can do. What we can do about tracking down the status up there. I just added that. We're good.
I thought that was a mistype.
Yeah, no, I am occasionally stupid, and by occasionally I mean a whole lot of the time.
I'll see what we can do about tracking down the status of Actual. Signal back in 15 mics if you're able. Over. Ordered 2-0 before he 3-0 any longer.
Acknowledged 2-0. Oxide 3-0 will be in touch once we finish cleanup out here. Over and out. 3-0 would nod, appreciating the extra focus. Let me just check my Discord really quick. Oh, it's still audio settings. Oh, there we go. Need to turn the sound up on Discord so we can chat for you guys. So on the chat where you guys are talking, right click Pinto, then user volume should be there. Okay, Pinto, right click, user vol. Oh, Oh! Yes! Maximum beam. Say something.
Hi.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we've got maximum beam.
I'm scared.
You should
My
be.
family, I love them.
We're going full pinto. Ford better watch out. I tried to tell you. Yeah, no, I mistook your messages for someone else. It's so much better. As the radio went quiet, 20 would take a quick look to his clock and offer a fleeting glance to the woods before adjusting the frequency of his helmet radio. While a large amount of the local forces outside of the upper echelon, like Murdoch, there needs to be a comma there, upper echelon, like Murdoch and Lydecker, were only largely unknown to the commando. The majority of the support teams that had been supplied by the Mozart were not. A quick test of Oxide Actual's channel only confirmed the lack of response, allowing 20 to focus the last of his remaining minute to one person whom he knew was still active on the ground, Lieutenant Faraday. Okay, so I recorded you saying it's free real estate. I saved it correctly. It works. The file deleted itself. This is dumb, and I hate everything. Angry Soosh. Dodged that bullet. Well, no, the file took it literally. It just decided that this was free real estate, and it moved on.
Them they were fighting words.
Yes, indeed. All right. Valor 5-1, this is Oxide 20 on closed frequency R75. Do you copy? Over, 20 hurried. You can get this bit.
A moment's pause would meet the radio as the commandos would exchange some looks to one another at the call before the line would go live. The scene at Fort Lockhead would have changed rather drastically since the retreat of the ruffians from the from the dig site. In the brief silence, guardsmen had deployed out far enough to try to combat the fires the fleeing insurgents had left. Before they had grown too wild to contain their limit.
The mic cut out. Hang on.
Oh.
Before had grown too wild to contain with their limited equipment.
Hang on. Okay. Instead, efforts were taken to simply... Oh crap, I lost the screen.
Oh no. Oh no, it's doing it again. Dag nabbit, it's doing it again.
I was reading...
It's obvious why you do this to me. You drive me to drink, and look, there I go. I need some sad cowboy music. The sad sparkle. The sad sparkles. I'm sad.
Oh, there we go. Hang on.
Oh, is it? Are we back?
Yes. Instead, efforts were taken to simply keep the Inferno away from the rotten wooden walls of the old fort. That was until... Oh wait, that was... Okay, I can't read. That was until the first wave of the small machines had begun to charge. Why is it quiet?
I don't know. You can keep going.
Okay. A slew of mechas, I'm assuming I'm pronouncing it.
Yes.
Okay. A slew of mechas barely radiating Cast one, if that, rained in seemingly endless waves against the walls of the
derelict
fortress.
You're doing just fine.
Simple components stolen from various bits of farming equipment and vehicles mashed inside of a hastily alchemized shell that had been turned into a metal more familiar to ruffian mechanics. Spinning blades stolen from power tools and gardening equipment, ranging from saws to violently spinning shovel blades, filled the center space between the dingy off-purple metal plates, littered with piercing red optics and sensors at the end of fixed tubules jutting out at all angles.
You get this one, I'll get the next one.
Oh. Valor 5-1, reading 5, Oxide 2-0, Central.
Ooh, I'm losing the signal. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Valor 5-1 reading you 5x5, Oxide 2-0, send traffic clear, and he replies, I sent you an audio file. That's why my mic internet's screwing up. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm out in a bunker. We ain't got much Wi-Fi to spare down here. We barely have any cold hair down here. Look at me. I'm sweating. I'm dying. I look like a pork rind. Roger, oh, excuse me.
I said Area 51 has better Wi-Fi than me.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of 51. Roger, 5-1. I need you to send a team to Grid Square 4-1 ASAP. I got friendlies MIA somewhere in that area near the Whiskey Alpha Tango Echo Romeo plant who might need assistance. Over. Reply 2-0 before Faraday responded after a moment's pause.
Copy that, Oxide 2-0. We're engaged here at the moment, but we're going to try and raise hell in a minute. I'll deploy a team once we make an opening. What kind of situation should we expect? Over. The lieutenant spoke as she rose from the cover of the old wall and opened fire on the flying blades as they flitted this way and that, seeking a place to bury their blades.
Valor 5-1, we don't know at this time, but intel on the ground suggests heavy resistance and Tango fortifications around that area. Be advised, traffic coming out of that area is 1x5 at best. Liberty 1 is still engaging and unable to supplement your comms. Break. Oxide 2-0 started before looking over the ESG agent, who responded with a nod. Local reports confirm multiple hostages somewhere nearby. If you can, have your team keep in touch. I'll be monitoring this frequency. 2-0 out. The commando would finish, his hand lowering from his helmet. I'll get this bit. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry, child. Both the excuse me, both the commandos and ESG operatives. No, I'm cool as a cucumber despite sweating my face off. This is my cool face. This is cool sweat. Both of the commandos and the ESG operatives would turn towards the woods and readied their gear, while a portion of the UCASC officers remained tending... Oh, what? What happened? I think someone tried to eject Meg from the call, but her potato powers were just too strong. She's rooted in just like a spud. She's got that spudly strength. I'm jealous.
What?
She's got arms like an Irishman in his pride. Or prime, excuse me. That too. I know words. I'm writing a book. Both the commandos and ESG operatives would turn towards the woods and readied their gear, while a portion of the UCASC officers remained tending to the injured 23, 27, and 29. The others, mostly blue-uniformed officers, would recollect themselves, using the Calyata kit's blue beams to disassemble the extinguishers that were no longer needed. Panting and marred some by the heat, the security forces looked out into the burnt woodlands for a moment and spoke amongst one another, one drawing their sermovox to contact some additional forces likely in the area.
Once you get your pods in and activate our guys, push south to Blockhead and do what you can to help secure that position. 2-0 called over his shoulder, alerting several of the officers immediately.
A nod from one of the ESG operatives would silently confirm the order, eliciting replied gestures of acceptance from them. Then, wasting little more time, the group stormed into the thicket as fast as they could manage. A flurry of data was already coming in to the agents who had remained behind with the commandos. Their comrades had already been scanning over the ground as much as they could, with an entire host of wearable equipment inside their nondescript coats and clothing, scanning for lingering power signatures in the airwaves. The interference would worsen the deeper they went, but it would do little to dissuade their...
What?
Oh,
sorry, you lagged out and I thought you were muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. The interference would worsen the deeper they went, but it would do little to dissuade their speed. Other officers, catching their breath or themselves scanning over the area to relocate their retreating foe, would begin to dot the woods in increasing abundance. They would not have a crystal clear picture of the surrounding woods, but between them it would at least be unlikely for them to miss a hidden snare while they closed the gap between them. Avia Lock, en route to the warehouse. Take it away, Beans!
Woo! The sounds of the human weapons were far more clear this much farther to the western edge of the territory that the
Rolfians
still controlled. The fighting was much closer, the land much more contested, several acres ahead of the roving marauders at the crashed Corvettes. Capturing those vehicles had become a pipe dream as the ECC forces pushed their advantage towards them. Let me keep reading.
Yeah, I'll let you keep going.
Having stormed as fast as they could through the denser forest, Maud and the rest of her war band finally came to rest in the tree cover just behind the warehouse. Their hearts pounded loudly, their breathing heavy but quiet as their hided chests rose and fell in unison with the pulsing ache in their limbs. It had taken considerable effort to cover their tracks, the way their claws through patches of ground as they ran. The bulls had proven a significant hindrance in that regard, as their considerable weight and claws mashed and ground everything they touched.
Plaid puffed quietly to herself as she slowed, careful not to pull ahead of the cover afforded to her by the rest of the group. She'd not been so foolish as to let her guard down after catching Maud's ire, and instead had taken to safeguarding Corba, whether out of fear, mistaking her as the more reasonable of them, or out of defeat. The little fellow clung to her shoulder, trembling as the pain of the gouges left in him, and the scent of their leaking harassed his senses. He'd barely offer much more than a quiet, hysterical mumble, hoping to his native matrons and clans that he was not to be forever marked by this. Okay, what's this? When I put my book on amazing. Actually, when I put my book on amazing, I'll have Pinto make the audiobook. My gimmick is audiobooks in one take, no redo. Awesome. One and done. In a society as theirs, beauty and the way one presented oneself meant the world, their public image, their social standing. It was their form of honor, their formless armor that lifted them through the ranks of their ever-adapting society of trend-setting and breaking. It was all about the game for them, the little back and forths, the ebbs and flow of conversations, of teasing and nitpicking. Corba was no stranger to all the little games they played. He'd earned quite the affluent status for himself playing them, and his reputation in the field of metallurgy and anthropology, paired with a winning smile, had only helped him accumulate his numerous contacts and fortunes. But now, with this abomination on his jaw, if he even got out of this alive, there was a place where Medeans went, who were maimed and deformed, either at birth or in accidents, when their doctors just couldn't fix them. He trembled and feared, wondering if he would end up as one of the humble ones. Plaid cast.
So sad.
Oh yeah, the Medeans are very fickle and vain. And the cute name of the humble ones is to sort of say they've had their fight taken out of them. Plaid cast the small fellow to the ground rather unceremoniously. Vain. Yes, Meg, vain. Plaid cast the small fellow to the ground rather unceremoniously, but not as roughly, perhaps, as the others. The male creature from the ravine kept to her side, quietly watching her and wordlessly plotting with her as glances would cast up to the head of their group as Maud huffed. Her breathing seemed to sync with the deep muffled pounding of artillery, mixing with the chatters and chirps of the smaller arms which redoubled at their traffic control tower some acres north of them. Okay, now it's just a big hiss noise. Yeah.
Are you certain that that this is the safest place for you? Or
Forgot the letter R. Today's episode is brought to you by mental disability. I'm gonna hit the save button because we've made some progress. Okay, go for it.
Okay, you are certain that this is the safest place for your little plan, Maud snarled as she looked over her shoulder towards the communicator operator.
Yes!
Right?
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I'll let you take it. You take it with gusto.
Yes, I have been listening to what I can intercept. The humans still break against Sagnus's defenses. Here, I just need a little time to so much. The operator exhaled, hefting the device from the straps at his shoulders.
Keep going. You're golden. You're golden.
Then quickly. He will not hold this place for much longer. These are not the sounds of vermin whose resolve is broken. They smell the blood as plainly as I do, Monsorted.
Okay, hang on. Whatever after this, you are giving me 30 minutes regardless. No, Soosh! I have a Meg to keep from deflating because apparently she's been punctured in the chat. And I didn't get her insured. I have the remorse now.
Rest in pieces.
Rest in S's. The operator snorted simply as he eyed his machine, paying Maud little attention at her annoyed threat hisses. His claws danced with the effectiveness one would assume of a man who had trained well enough in his profession to avoid being deemed replaceable, adjusting the frequency of the rucksack-sized, long-range broadcaster. A low, deep breath would swell the lungs of the operator as he prepared to speak before being cut off by the sudden sharp sounds of small scrambling bodies. Every eye in the group immediately whipped in the direction of the noise made by the approaching Palamda and spacers of various species. A potent mixture of disappointment and annoyance would again overtake Maud as members of her Rolfian kin followed along behind the shambling group. Held at the gunpoint of badly worn Eondid slaves and their cruel masters, the 13 kidnapped souls hurried along through the brush and halted before this new group of their captors' kind. The Eondid spilled out soon behind them, ushering them forward in a small bundle, and would collapse just as suddenly under the shoves of the Rolfians behind them.
Retreating
Brack.
I don't know how to pronounce that. Retreating Maud Girdes.
Just make angry throat noises in the microphone. That's probably most of my reading.
Retreating Maud Girdes. Her eyes.
That was actually perfect. I'm surprised. That's just going to be the audiobook. Just a small clip of me saying, "Make angry noises with your throat." That's about it.
Primal screeches.
Okay. Caleb is channeling his Donald Duck. No, that would involve... I can do it. I can't make him say anything, but when it comes to having an irate Donald Duck in the picture, I'm your Huckleberry. I have to voice act in my game with that voice. That wouldn't be voice acting, that's just angry face flapping. Alright, no, come on, we're gonna get through this. We can do it!
You want me to keep reading?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Okay. Unlike her and those who followed her from the dig site, past the fortress, through the woods, and even the others who were scattered along within the little patch of barely developed land they'd taken, the bulk of the ruffians which surrounded the newly captured additions to their chateau were significantly better equipped, whereas Maud and those with her wore only the most Spartan of garments, in the form extravagant claws and...
There we go. Of, in the form of. Words, they do elude me.
Oh! Okay. In the form of extravagant claws and golden clasps, which...
For a second there, I thought that was a spelling mistake on my own. It's just like, I should proofread, like, twice before stream.
Golden clasp which draped or coiled around their trunks with some light afterthought given in the form of loose belts littered with whatever equipment they could take and affix to themselves. The armor-clad followers of Sangus Brack would be a stark contrast to their would-be military commander, were ruffians to have such uniformity.
Alright, didn't I proof it? Probably not. No, I typed a lot of this afterwards. Like, I was busy this week, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to type down a bunch of stuff before the stream, and we're just going to read it out. We're going to have a high old time, and I'm going to seem smart, and we're going to continue. And that, no. It ended bad. The most striking difference at a glance would be the implants and equipment fashioned around the faces of each of the drudges. Cup-like coverings would firmly affix to the blackened head shield, covering the eyes and allowing only one vertical slit in each, sporting only the smallest pinpricks of light from the machinery within. A mouthpiece of some sort would be rooted firmly into their closed maws, strapped deeply in place, and housing a plethora of equipment in greater sophistication to the pack the communicator operator hefted. Tubes of wildly differing variety would slink this way and that, under, around, and through large slabs of Rolfian metals, which seemed caught between stark black and, in places, more of the former purple color, creating an effect similar to the inside of an oyster's shell under the light which managed to creep through the dwindling smoke in the sky and the treetops. Even some of the decimated Eondid thralls would benefit from the more protective slabs of their ribbed, somewhat biological-looking armored hardpoints. No doubt they were of Sangus's private ownership, as the machines grafted into their heads looked far more developed and less crude than most of the others. Of course, they were not the only ones to apparently have undergone some unwanted level of engineering. While a bulk of the hoses and flexible piping of the Rolfian drudges would... Okay, so I italic that. I'm going to have to fix that. I'm going to be sick real quick. BRB. Okay, bye, Soosh. While the bulk of the hoses and flexible piping of the Rolfian drudges would be limited to the armor and ugly mottled sludge gray... to the armor and ugly mottled sludge gray and oily black undersuits, a considerable amount would also sneak into the temples and spinal ports, which were surgically implanted into most Rolfians at birth. Perhaps mercifully, the Rolfians had not thrived in their nuclear wastelands they called home completely unharmed. Their biology, while hardy, was not without weakness. Over time of constant exposure on the near-ruined world, the 4 psychic organs in their backs, I think, backs had become withered and feeble with defects. Without the aid of bulky, usually stationary machinery, thankfully all but the genetically modified Gaia X Shek. Excuse me. Scrolling down.
Scrolly.
Without the aid of bulky, usually stationary machinery, thankfully all but the genetically modified Gaia X Shek Okay. I heard oyster and bean. Are we at that part of the story yet? Eventually, they all go to a big buffet and they have that wonderful time. All but the genetically modified Gaia X Shek would be able to proficiently use such abilities, but the withered nerve bundles that remain, paired with the prosthetics, allowed for rather easy access to the nervous system and brain stem for modification. A tactical withdrawal, corrected a low, harsh voice from the back of the group. We'll scroll down and you can take it. There we go.
The last of the group retreating from the fighting around the traffic control tower would at last march from the brush, with tall, slow swinging which ground everything before him into splinters. Unlike his subservience, the only thing obstructing his face was a black cloth lying horizontally across his
head. Hang on, the mic cut out. It cut out good and proper. Have we lost the Pinto? We do. We lose the Pinto. Oh dear. Oh dearie dear. Well, I'm gonna go recover from being sad. I need to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Whoop. And I'll just leave this on for audio backdrop. Going to the sub-levels. Hello, it is me again. He said he lost connection. Oh, lost connection. Oh, well, that's a bummerino. Okay, well, I am back. Let me just check to make sure I'm in frame. Lower it a little bit. There we go. Got my nice jacket. Oh, I'm gonna have to turn off the air though, because that would be too convenient. It's too noisy. Too noisy. It's too noisy to be comfortable. Okay, let me look up here. Okay. Whoops! Okay, here we go. I will call back. Start a voice call. Probably should have asked first. That's always good manners. Ask first before you call people.
Hi.
Hello! Now, are we still set to, yes, maximum bean. Ultra bean. Alright, is everybody okay? Can we hear everybody? Oh, your fan is slowly burrowing into my mind. It's the air filtration centers. We have to pipe air down into the bunker somehow. Now, Soosh wants me to play audio of me saying it's free real estate.
This was free real estate.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. That no stream's complete without that. Thank you very much. Just have some water real quick. Yes, amazing. Alright, shall we continue? Maybe we can actually get to some writing tonight. If I don't...
Where did I cut off at? Because I kept reading and reading and reading, and then I realized, oh, I can't hear him.
Black cloth lying horizontally across his head.
Oh, The only thing obstructing his face was a black cloth lying horizontally across his head. Amid the tales of vulgarities and triumphs tattooed to his flesh was the emblem of his people, prideful in its perch at the middle of his brow, branded into his thick. His wild eyes were seemingly in conflict with his otherwise stoic features as those inky voids bore into Maud Verma. 2 long black coverings would drape from his hips, trailing behind him as he walked, covered in markings similar to the tattoos and fluttering with every motion.
Are their defenses too much for you? Oh wait, no, that's Maud. I'm gonna let that to you. We do the Rolfian, angry Rolfian lady. You first.
Oh wait. Okay. Angry. Okay.
Yeah. Angry.
Are their defenses too much for you? Surely they do not deny you the spoils of victory. Maud knew Spike delighted in his torment.
Apparently, I and my thralls were also the only ones who decided to arm ourselves with something other than silk, he chided in counter.
That is not my pleasure, Maud dismissed, waving off the protective garments.
And my pleasure is not toiling for nothing. I will make this voyage profitable for my troubles, and leave this place weeping my name. I will scar this place and its people, violate its minerals, and crush their armies. They will suffer for me, and I will rejoice in my fortunes. But we both know we're not here for such simple delights. Where are your pickings? Your claws are near empty of plunder, and Nox promised a weapon that your group was to recover. Or was putting even that little faith in your abilities a mistake? Sangus growled, his voice churning and grinding in his toothy maw. Maud offered only a sharp glance to her followers in response, one cold and demanding. They didn't need to be told to present their plunder, and with some quiet resistance at the idea of revealing their ill-gotten gains, the group began to pull what they had taken from the folds, pouches, and pockets within their sparse garments and bringing them forward. A yelp escaped several of the Palamda as Sangus Brock cast them aside and marched forward. Just Oh, no, I'm going to take this real quick.
Okay.
You get the dialogue, though, and after that.
Okay.
Plaidvog's grasp tentatively... There we go. Plaidvog's grasp tentatively snaked itself to the collar of Korba's shirt below his coat. I do not like the letter R, apparently. Don't you dare! You don't know nothing. You're not the one in the nuclear bunker. No. You have the madness. You're seeing things.
You're running out of oxygen down there.
We passed that threshold ages ago. Yeah, mistake. Kayla does not like the hard R. Oh, Soosh, don't you do me like that. Plaidvog's grasp tentatively snaked itself to the collar of Korba's shirt below his coat, eliciting an anxious fidget from him as he felt the cloth close firmly on his airway. A warm, wet, panging feeling pulsed in his jaw as he tried to look back at his captor, but her eyes never left the approaching figure. Instead, her head would crane only slightly down, closer to his ear-hole level, and her destructive paw offering him a subtle yet sturdy shake.
My turn?
Yes.
Okay. Do not stray far from me, Plaid quietly commanded as she took her place aside from the others. Keep going.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me just scroll down real quick.
Let's think.
There we go.
A less than quiet and wholly unimpressed sigh escaped Rack as his hand clapped down on the first of the relics. There were 8 pieces in total, and some unruly pile of stolen research notes and personal devices in front of the offerings. Beyond that were simple things, little items of personal pleasure for the Rolfians whom had stolen them. Jewelry, fabrics, ores, food, and drink. and other bits of technology they'd grabbed, none of which holding much interest to the self-appointed commander. Only a passing glance would fail to Korba, still more than enough to send a chill through his spine, before Sangus Brack's attention drifted back to the 8 objects with the most obvious age as he tried desperately to assume some use of them.
While the total of relics might have been 8, a good many of them were in pieces. Pieces that shut up, nothing to see here. Were in pieces. Pieces that none of the lesser thugs seemed willing to share to complete them. The metals of all the baubles before them were long since tarnished and discolored, apparently having not been made a priority of upkeeping by the nanomachines which preserved much of the dig site. 3 of the relics were nothing more than white opaque bulbs, marred by dirt and time, while some dingy golden metallic geometry jutted from them, rattling under his movements to study them. Dissatisfaction at the apparently useless orbs was more than apparent on his face as he tossed the first of the orbs back to its holder. A greater level of passing interest, or fleeting approval, expressed itself over Brock's features, as he moved to a cluster of the Rolfians and a bull that had been smart enough to consider grabbing things for himself, who held the broken remnants of something more recognizable. With all the pieces and all the hands coveting them, there seemed to be at least enough scraps and portions to assemble 2 tall and strangely proportioned robots. The alien origin of the machines, paired with their disrepair, made the fleshless things more than unappealing to Brack, as any potential use would require immense amounts of research. Oh yeah, don't go to Australia, because apparently Soosh has already eaten Australia.
Delicious.
Yes. The much smaller robot, which was still whole, was met with similar ambivalence. The smaller machine was such that it could easily be cupped in 2 hands of its Rolfian minder, almost resembling a toy with its small size and soft features. It was more appealing than the scavenged parts of the others, but a toy hardly appealed to a warmonger such as Sangus. Knox's words had very specifically painted visions of a world-ender, a power to rival all armies, and it was that which Brack craved. The final 2 objects appeared to be as unassuming as the others. One was a twisted 2-foot length of some dull blue material, spiraling into a column marked with subtle creases and patterns which almost gave it an appearance of some living thing. The 3 stalks at either end and the dreary off-purple blush between them did little to shake the comparison. The other took the form of an oily black cocoon of interwoven strands of some unknown metal, almost entirely caging a core of formless red nucleus with some clear membrane which rippled like water, but never once falling from within the device. Though the black of the device bore a patina of age, the inner working seemed unfazed by the millennia. The red shape and its clear blanket within burst into spikes that seemed to stop just short of the opening of the pea-pod shape, then divided into hundreds of smaller spheres, collapsing into themselves, breaking into geometric shapes, then starting all over again. The only form to break up the outside of the cage was a single smooth trilobite shape at the back center of the odd object. "Is that all?" Brack spoke after only a moment's quandary.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Nox had not mentioned how large the device was. There was no time to move it before their guardians arrived and supplemented their limited technology. "You are lucky to have anything," Maud frowned, growing defensive of Brack's scrutiny.
She jealous. She angry. She don't like being told what up. Oh, I found a Google called the Meg. Oh, the Meg, strongest of all the monsters. Okay. The warmonger's snout would crease and wrinkle as he frowned as well. He did not pay the objects a second glance, instead turning to look to the warehouse as the sounds of fighting behind them continued. As one of his armored thralls would jog around from one of the shuttered doors at the tall storage building, Sangus would allow his attention to drift back towards the outstretched arms of the Rolfians before him.
None of these trinkets look like weapons. None look even able to draw pain unless I were to have my enemies sit bare upon these.
The militarist grumbled before pausing, considering the applications as a torture device.
And these make poor soldiers. They are much too dumb and much too slow, too limited. They do not have the viciousness of mortal hearts. I sculpt killers, not code.
Brack continued. Perimeter secured, Commander, garbled a tinny croak of...
It's a tinny.
garbled the tinny croak from the the approaching drudge's mouthpiece. And I'm going to take care of that because I discovered earlier I italicked this. He lost his voice. No, I imagine Brack sounding like someone putting sandpaper through a paper shredder.
At least one of us will have the spoils to show for this.
Sangus frowned, harshly eyeing the group and continuing. A claw rose to his wrist, thumbing in some command to a screen that sent the diligent combatants squirming in euphoric delight for a moment. Maud, and indeed most of her cohorts, turned their noses at the display as the implants in the back of the... gonna fix that. Italic.
That's fancy talk.
Yes. And that's fancy space talk that needs to be italics. As the implants in the back of the drudge pulsed and churned chemicals directly into the writhing figure, the display stopped almost as quickly as it began, and in an instant a low pop echoed through the woods before the back doors of the multiple-floored warehouse began to slide vertically open. More of Sangus's faux soldiers would pour... Shut up! I'm the writer! More of Sangus's faux soldiers would pour from the structure, this time latent with supplies and plunder. Others would spill from their hiding spots near large silos which housed all manners of fuels and chemicals. Glee and delight immediately began to wash over the others, with hungry, wanting looks in their eyes. Despite Maud's big words and promises, they'd yet to get the chance to flood themselves with the riches of this world. Most barely even waited for Maud's reaction before they were breaking ranks to rush the tempting bastion of loot and wealth, and Maud knew that not even she would be able to dissuade them. In annoyance, she relented. I'm going to put a comma there. In annoyance, she relented as Sangus swept his hands towards the opening of the storehouse.
Partake! Enrich yourselves with the bounties of war!
Sangus basked within the glow of his own perceived success. My throat tried to leave my body. Before turning to Maud as she, Plaid, and her supporter, the comm operator, and only a few others chose to remain.
Is that me?
No, that's me.
Then you can explain why you were broadcasting to me.
The black-clad brute concluded as his tone flattened, rekindling the sense of urgency and haste.
Now it's you.
Okay. We are being followed by their stronger prey, and
UCASTs.
UCAST's little assassins, Maud began to explain.
And it is your hope that my thirst for glory will...
And
it is your hope that in my thirst for glory, I will mindlessly take this battle as my own and buy you time to slither back to shelter with the relics.
Sangus sneered.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, it is the reading stream, apparently.
Reading Rainbow.
Do-do-do-do.
Well, I find that more palatable. No, we have another plan that may yet benefit us both.
Yay! We did it! Can we get some claps in the chat? Thank you, Beans. You are free. I release you back to the ether. Goodbye. Goodbye! Goodbye! You're not getting paid! We're not getting paid. Nobody's getting paid. Is it over? Yes, it is over. You are now... Goodbye! Okay, yep, no, there. Nice stream. See, no, Soosh, where are you going? Where are you going? We only got past the first hurdle here. I'm going to try and get to the end of the page. I haven't seen my family in 3 years. Bless you for releasing me. Is this the world now? She moved on, Caleb. She moved on. No! I wasn't ready! I still have Diet Coke! Oh, delicious nectar. Diet cocaine. Exactly. I didn't stutter. What don't you like about more so? No, I'm going to Google that. I'm going to call Bull Pooperdoo. Is more so one word? Come on. Excuse me. Oh! Though spelled as two words, the one word more so gained ground despite Oh, so the authorities, the writing authorities are disapproving of it as one word. Okie doke, okie doke, okie dokie, okie doke. Well, we'll meet in the middle and I'll use a hyphen. Okay, we're going to finish up this page and then end the stream because it's hot in this bunker and I'm dying and I'm not going to film from a nuclear bunker again! And a big wool jumpsuit left yet at that probably didn't help matters. Neither did the big thick heavy rubber boots. I thought we were going to have a fun time. We were going to do some Fallout. It was going to be great. I could film in here. A-okay, hunky dory. No, the air conditioner sounds like the world's dying. And it might well be because I'm several miles underground. I don't know anything. Down but not out. Hello, welcome to my happy little nuclear post-apocalyptic bunker. I'm glad to see you here, and it is very hot. The end of the world isn't going to be pleasant. Global warming ain't got nothing on this. Wait, down but not out. That would be Katie. I made it. I'm not in too good a shape, though. Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that. Are you alright? Was it a hard day at work? Or more drastic than that? Because I recall your car being in a state. Also, I just unmuted the laptop, so if you said anything, Caleb, I totally missed it. Oh, no, I just transmitted sympathy for you and welcomed you to my post-apocalyptic nuclear bunker at the center of the Earth. But, like, slightly to the left a little bit. Slightly to the left of the void of the unending whales. Yes, I am. No, here. Let me get the unending whales going. There we go. Unending screaming. That's more like it. Screaming's cold and refreshing, and I'm okay with it right now. Oh, but it's not meant to be. I don't want to torture the other people of the stream. Because apparently it puts Soosh into some sort of state of misery. Sounds like my tortured soul. It's exhausted from making you read what's effectively on my page here, my document here, 9 pages. Whale noises, sheep Soosh, if you ever heard a sheep that sounds like that, I'm gonna be concerned. Get to the pointy. Gotta love the finger slips there. traveled deep down in the abyss this day and emerged with my sanity intact, barely. Then you didn't go down far enough, because where your sanity is, I'm down here. I'm stuck here. The Quiznos is empty. They're never open. I'm left here with tap water and one Diet Coke to last the rest of my life. And a Pip-Boy that has no batteries. Get this man some some double A's. I think I need like a watch battery. And I went through a lot of trouble to make sure this worked. I got the, I made this myself. It was out of one of the lights from Harbor Freight, where I printed out the picture here, and there's a little light here that shines up and makes it look like it's glowing, and then there's a little light here, because every Pip-Boy needs a flashlight, and if it doesn't have a flashlight, it's not a Pip-Boy. It's half a Pip-Boy. It's a Pip. Okay. You know. No, I mean then, you know. LMAO, I thought you cut out. No, I'm just really good at sounding like an idiot. Excuse me. Guitar that plays the violin. Well, that'd be cool. Gotta go. Storms are coming and my Wi-Fi keeps cutting out. Well, it was great to have you, Pinto. You were a huge help and a huge celebrity for this stream, and I really appreciate your assistance, as was our friend Berto, whom I hope to see again next stream. It was incredibly nice to have you, and I suppose I might as well end the stream here. We've gotten to the next page, we've read everything, and I think we've got a good amount of practice in for our voice acting, and a good bit of reading in before a good amount of writing in before the stream. Sorry, brain fart there. I think I've sweated myself out. Now, in the meantime, I think I'm going to introduce myself to Mr. Goodbreeze. Thank you all for coming, everybody. It was wonderful to have you, and I know we didn't get a lot of typing done, but thus is the nature of the beast when you're sitting at the heart of the earth. I greatly enjoyed reading it all with you, and I greatly enjoy having you all as my friends. It honors me greatly every week that you decide to come here. So, in the meantime, take care of yourselves, my kaboblings, and I will see you next Wednesday. Adios. And then I'm going to hit the stop recording button.